This video is designed to help you start a scrap metal business. At the end of the video, you'll find a valuable gift. It's a scrap metal business plan that you can download, and will lay down for you, step by step, everything you need to know to start a successful scrap metal business of your own. If you are new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Basically, there is no clear-cut niche area in the scrap metal recycling industry, although a scrap metal recycling company can decide to specialize in either recycling steel and iron scrap or recycling non-ferrous scrap metal. But on average, almost all scrap metal recycling companies engage in recycling all forms of metal. So, if you are looking towards starting your own scrap metal recycling company, then you should clearly define your market so that you will be able to know how to supply recycled scrap metal to them. These are some of the niche ideas of specialization a startup scrap metal recycling company can specialize in within the industry. The recycling industry is an emerging market that is yet to be fully embraced globally, therefore there is little or no competition in the industry at the moment. Although, there is a relationship between the emerging players as they cannot do without each other. Since the industry is a multi-stage one, there is a need for collaboration among the players in order to have a win-win situation for all the players. Without a shadow of doubt, there are loads of big-time investors that have stakes in the scrap metal recycling industry, but one thing is certain, there is room big enough to accommodate all players. So, if you enter the industry today, you should brace up yourself for collaboration and prepare for serious competition in the nearest future. As soon as the recycling industry enters its boom period, this period will definitely arrive, especially in the developing world, in little time, when recycled product is seen in the same light as the new and virgin material. When starting a scrap metal recycling business, you just have to get your costing economic analysis right if your intention of building the business is to generate profit, grow the business, and perhaps expand the business and start competing at national level. When conducting costing and economic analysis for your scrap metal recycling business, you just have to critically examine these key factors: place, pricing and promotion. As a matter of fact, you would have to continue to review these key factors at the regular interval while running your scrap metal recycling business. As a scrap metal recycling business owner, you just have to have a proper grasp of your competitive landscape if indeed you want to maximize profits and be in the front line of the industry. When it comes to starting a business of this nature, it will pay you to start from the scratch as against buying a franchise. Besides, it is easier to start and run a scrap metal recycling company from scratch to profitability, without leveraging on a known brand name. People will patronize your products based on accessibility and pricing as against relying on a brand name. Please note that most of the big and successful scrap metal recycling companies around started from scratch, and they were able to build a solid business brand. It takes dedication, hard work, and determination to achieve business success, and of course, you can build your own scrap metal recycling company to become a successful scrap metal recycling company in your area of specialization, and even go ahead to start competing at the national level. Possible threats and challenges. If you decide to start your own scrap metal recycling business today, one of the major challenges you are likely going to face is the presence of well-established scrap metal recycling companies in your target market location. The only way to avoid this challenge is to create your own market, concentrate on startup production companies that need raw materials from a scrap metal recycling company. Some other threats and challenges that you are likely going to face are mature markets, a bad economy, economic downturn, stiff competition, volatile costs, and rising fuel prices. Also, unfavorable government policies, and seasonal fluctuations. The downturn in the economy is likely going to affect consumer spending, and of course emergence of new competitors within the same location, where yours is located. Basically, the business operation process, as it involves scrap metal recycling companies, involves scrap metal collection trucks driving through designated locations to collect scrap metals that are well packed in a waste drum and then transported to the scrap metal recycling plant. Once the scrap metals are offloaded from the truck, sorting of the scrap metal is the next activity that will follow. After sorting of the scrap metal, they are then placed inside the scrap metal recycling plant. It usually goes through different processes such as melting, molding and packaging. At every process, the use of conveyor belt is needed to transport the materials from one location to another within the recycling plant. Lastly, after the recycling process is complete, the recycled scrap metal are packaged and then shipped or transported to manufacturing companies that make use of recycled scrap metal as raw materials for producing products, and this is done based on demand. The next part of the video is not specific to a scrap metal business. Nevertheless, this knowledge is essential for success in the scrap metal business, as well as in any other business. Ignore it at your own peril. Operating a successful scrap metal business will depend on the following 4 conventions. 1. A practical plan, with a solid foundation. 2. Dedication, and willingness to sacrifice, to reach your goal. 3. Technical skills. 4. Basic knowledge of management, finance, record keeping and market analysis. As a new owner, you will need to master these skills and techniques if your business is to be successful. Finding a niche. Small businesses range in size from a manufacturer, with many employees, and millions of dollars in equipment, to the lone window washer, with a bucket and a sponge. Obviously, the knowledge and skills, required for these 2 extremes, are far apart, but for success they have one thing in common. Each has found a business niche, and is filling it. The most critical problems you will face, in your early planning, will be to find your niche, and determine the feasibility of your idea. Get into the right business at the right time, is very good advice, but following that advice may be difficult. Many entrepreneurs plunge into a business venture, so blinded by the dream, that they fail to thoroughly evaluate its potential. Is your business idea feasible? Before you invest time, effort, and money, the following exercise will help you separate sound ideas from those bearing a high potential for failure. Identify and briefly describe the business you plan to start. Identify the product or service you plan to sell. Answering yes to any of the following 3 questions means you are on the right track. A negative answer to all of them means the road ahead could be rough. 1. Does your product or service satisfy an unfilled need? 2. Will your product or service serve an existing market in which demand exceeds supply? 3. Will your product or service be competitive, based on its quality, selection, price, or location? Market analysis. For a small business to be successful, the owner must know the market. To learn the market, you must analyze it, a process that takes time and effort. You don't have to be a trained statistician to analyze the marketplace, nor does the analysis have to be costly. Analyzing the market is a way to gather facts about potential customers, and to determine the demand for your product or service. The more information you gather, the greater your chances of capturing a segment of the market. Know the market before investing your time and money in any business venture. The following questions will help you collect the information necessary to analyze your market, and determine if your product or service will sell. This brief exercise will give you a good idea of the kind of market planning you need to do. An answer of no to any of the questions indicates a weakness in your plan, so do your research until you can answer each question with a yes. 1. Do you know who your customers will be? 2. Do you understand their needs and desires? 3. Do you know where they live? 4. Will you be offering the kind of products or services that they will buy? 5. Will your prices be competitive in quality and value? 6. Will your promotional program be effective? 7. Do you understand how your business compares with your competitors? 8. Will your business be conveniently located for the people you plan to serve? 9. Will there be adequate parking facilities for the people you plan to serve? Planning your startup. The following questions are grouped according to function. They are designed to help you prepare for opening day. Merchandise. Have you decided what items you will sell or produce, or what services you will provide? Have you made a merchandise plan, based upon estimated sales, to determine the amount of inventory you will need to control purchases? Have you found reliable suppliers, who will assist you in the startup? Have you compared the prices, quality, and credit terms of suppliers? Business records. Are you prepared to maintain complete records of sales, income and expenses, accounts payable, and receivables? Have you determined how to handle payroll records, tax reports, and payments? Do you know what financial reports should be prepared, and how to prepare them? Finances. A large number of small businesses fail each year. There are a number of reasons for these failures, but one of the main reasons is insufficient funds. Too many entrepreneurs try to start and operate a business without sufficient capital, money. To avoid this dilemma, you can review your situation by analyzing the following 3 questions. 1. How much money do you have? 2. How much money will you need to start your business? 3. How much money will you need to stay in business? In order to answer the second question, how much money will you need to start your business? You need to prepare an estimate of all your startup costs. Here is a list of items you may need to take into account. Note that this list is for a retail business. Items will vary for service, construction, manufacturing or online firms. Decorating and remodeling, fixtures and equipment, installing fixtures and equipment, services and supplies, beginning inventory cost, legal, professional fees, licenses and permits, telephone utility deposits, insurance, signs, advertising for opening, unanticipated expenses. Now, the answer to the third question, how much money will you need to stay in business? Must be divided into two parts, immediate costs, and future costs. From the moment the door to your new business opens, a certain amount of income may come in. However, this income should not be projected in your operating expenses. You will need enough money available to cover costs for at least the first 3 months of operation. The following list will help you project your operating expenses on a monthly basis. Typical expenses for 1 month may include your living costs, employee wages, rent, advertising, supplies, utilities, insurance, taxes, maintenance, delivery, transportation, miscellaneous. Now sum up the total estimated monthly expenses, and multiply it by 3. This is the amount of cash you will need to cover operating expenses for 3 months. Deposit this amount in a savings account before opening your business. Use it only for those purposes listed in the above list, because this money will ensure that you will be able to continue in business during the crucial early stages. By adding the total startup costs to the total expenses for 3 months, you can learn what the estimated costs will be to start and operate your business for 3 months. By subtracting the totals of the lists from the cash available, you can determine the amount of additional financing you may need, if any. Now you will need to estimate your operating expenses for the first year after startup. The first step in determining your annual expenses is to estimate your sales volume, month by month. Next, determine the cost of sales. You may want to use a spreadsheet to do this. After startup, the primary source of revenue in your business will be from sales, but your sales will vary from month to month because of seasonal patterns and other factors. It is important to determine if your monthly sales will produce enough income to pay each month's bills. An estimated cash flow projection will show if the monthly cash balance is going to be subject to such factors as the following: failure to recognize seasonal trends, excessive cash taken from the business for living expenses, too rapid expansion, and slow collection of accounts if credit is extended to customers. Conclusion: if you have carefully answered all the questions in this video, you have seriously thought about your goal. However, there may be some things you may feel you need to know more about. Owning and running a scrap metal business is a continuous learning process. Research your idea, and do as much as you can yourself, but don't hesitate to seek help from people who can tell you what you need to know. As we conclude this video, it's time you get your free scrap metal business plan gift. Go to the description below this video to get it now. It is completely free, no strings attached. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this.